Hey everyone, and welcome to the Best English Podcast. I'm your host, Olivia, and I am so excited you're here with us today.
And I'm James. It's awesome to have you tuning in. Whether this is your first time listening or you're one of our regulars, we're honestly thrilled to be a part of your English learning journey. Welcome.
We are. And today, oh my gosh, James, I am buzzing about today's topic. We have something really special, something powerful lined up. We're going to talk about how to train your brain for English fluency.
Yes, this isn't just another vocabulary lesson. This is the master key, the secret sauce. We're talking about rewiring your brain. I know. That sounds super scientific and maybe a little intimidating, but trust me, it's one of the most exciting concepts in language learning.
It really is. So many people think learning English is all about memorizing grammar rules and long lists of words. And yes, that's part of it. But the real magic happens inside your head, in how your brain actually works.
Exactly. Our brains are incredible. They're not fixed, they're not set in stone. They can literally change, adapt, and grow even when we're adults. This amazing ability is called neuroplasticity.
And that means we can actively train our brains to think in English, to speak more fluently, and to understand conversations more clearly and naturally. It's like taking your brain to the gym.
I love that comparison. A gym for your brain. That's exactly what we're going to help you do today. We'll show you how to rewire your brain so that learning English stops feeling like a chore and starts becoming easier, faster, and, believe it or not, a lot more fun.
So if you've ever felt stuck, or if you've ever thought to yourself, ugh, my brain is just not made for languages, then this episode is especially for you. Please stick with us because we're going to share some super practical, easy-to-use tips, some powerful insights, and we'll even give you a small challenge you can start doing the second this episode ends.
Let's do this. It's time to unlock your brain's full potential.
Okay, so first things first. James, let's tackle the big question right away. When we say rewire your brain, what on earth does that actually mean? It sounds like something from a sci-fi movie.
It does, doesn't it? But it's a lot simpler and cooler than that. Think of it this way. Your brain is like a huge city, and your thoughts and habits are the roads that run through it. When you speak your native language, you're driving on wide, smooth, super fast highways that you've been using your whole life.
Ooh, I love that analogy. The roads are so familiar, you don't even have to think about where you're going. Your brain just knows the way.
Exactly. Now, when you start learning English, you're not on a highway anymore. You're in a part of the city with no roads. At first, you have to create a tiny little dirt path. It's slow, it's bumpy, and you have to think about every single step.
That is such a perfect description of how it feels at the beginning. It's difficult, and it takes so much effort just to form one sentence.
Right. But here's the magic of rewiring. Every time you practice English, every time you listen to a podcast like this one, or say a new word out loud, or try to think in English, you're working on that little path. You're paving it, making it a little wider, a little smoother.
And if you keep using that path every single day, it eventually turns into a proper road, and then a bigger road. And before you know it, you've built a brand new highway for English right inside your brain. That's rewiring. It's creating and strengthening these new connections, these new pathways.
That's it. It's just like going to the gym. You don't lift a weight one time and suddenly have big muscles, right? It's completely unrealistic. You have to go consistently, day after day, and slowly those muscles grow stronger. Your brain is a muscle and it works the exact same way.
I find that so incredibly encouraging because it means that your ability to learn English has nothing to do with being talented or gifted. It has everything to do with training. It doesn't matter how old you are or where you're from. Your brain is ready and waiting for you to start building those new roads.
100%. And here's another cool thing to think about. When you're thinking in your native language, your brain is just on autopilot, using those old familiar patterns. But the moment you try to think in English, even something simple like the sky is blue, your brain has to wake up and start building something new.
That's so true. It feels like a mental effort at first, doesn't it? It can be slow and clunky, but that feeling of difficulty is actually a good sign. That's the feeling of your brain building, growing, and getting stronger in a totally new direction.
Exactly. So if you're listening right now and you're thinking, but I always forget new words, or I feel so shy and nervous when I try to speak, please don't worry. There's nothing wrong with you. Your brain just needs more training. It's still working on that little dirt path.
You are not bad at English. Let's just say that one more time for everyone to hear. You are not bad at English. You just haven't built and strengthened those brain highways yet. But today, right now, we're going to give you the map and the tools to start building them, step by step.
You got it. And soon you'll find yourself thinking and speaking in English more easily, more automatically, and you might even start to really enjoy the process.
All right, so now that we know what rewiring our brain actually is, building those new roads, let's talk about something really important that I think every single learner has experienced. Why does learning English feel so incredibly hard sometimes?
Yes. Let's get real about this because that feeling of frustration is totally normal. It's okay to feel that way. Learning any new language is a challenge, especially when your brain has spent decades operating in your native language.
You said it earlier, James. Our brains can be a little bit lazy.
They totally are. They're all about efficiency. The brain loves to stick with what it already knows because it saves energy. So when you suddenly try to speak English, your brain is like, whoa, hold on a second. This is new. This is different. This is hard work. I'd rather go back to the easy highway. Thank you very much.
It's so true. And this is especially true if your first language is very different from English. For example, if your language doesn't have articles like and the, or has a completely different sentence structure, your brain has to work overtime to build these new rules from scratch. It's a huge construction project.
And let's talk about the biggest roadblock of all for so many people, fear. The fear of making a mistake, the fear of sounding silly, the fear that people won't understand you, or even worse, that they'll laugh at you.
Oh, that fear is paralyzing. It can literally stop you from even trying to speak. But here's the secret that successful learners understand. Making mistakes is not just a part of learning, it is the only way to learn.
Say it louder. Mistakes are how your brain figures things out. It's like a scientist doing an experiment. The scientist tries something, it doesn't work, and they learn from it. They think, okay, that didn't work, let me try something else. Every mistake you make in English is your brain gathering data for the next attempt.
Absolutely. Another thing that gets in the way is old habits. Maybe you have the habit of translating everything in your head from your native language before you speak. We all start there, but if you never move past that stage, it acts like a speed bump. It slows you down and makes speaking English feel really difficult and unnatural.
That is such a common trap. Your brain builds the habit of translating instead of the habit of thinking in English. And sometimes learners get stuck just studying. They read grammar books, they memorize vocabulary lists, but they never actually use the language in a real way.
Right. It's like reading a bunch of books about how to swim, but never actually getting in the water. Your brain doesn't get the real-world practice it needs to build those strong language roads. It's all theory and no practice.
So to everyone listening, if English feels hard for you right now, I want you to take a deep breath and know this. It is not because you are bad at it. It's not a personal failing. It's just your brain doing what brains do. You simply need more practice, more patience with yourself, and a shift towards building the right kind of habits.
And that's the perfect transition, James, because that's what we're diving into next. How the brain forms habits with language, and most importantly, how you can use that powerful knowledge to your advantage. This is where things start to get really practical.
Okay, let's talk about the superpower that is going to change your English learning journey, habits. Olivia, you're so good at explaining this stuff. How do habits connect to rewiring our brain for English?
Aw, thanks, James. Well, it's really fascinating. Habits are basically actions our brain has put on autopilot. Think about it. When you brush your teeth, you don't think, okay, now I will pick up the toothbrush. Now I will squeeze the toothpaste. You just do it. Your brain loves habits because they save a ton of mental energy.
Right. It creates these little shortcuts or programs that can run in the background. And when it comes to language, our brain is desperately trying to do the same thing. If you repeat something often enough, like listening to an English podcast every morning or saying a particular phrase every day, your brain is like, okay, this is important. Let's make this automatic.
Exactly. The more you do it, the easier and more automatic it gets. At first, saying a phrase like, "Could you please speak a little slower?" might feel really clunky, and you have to think about every single word. But if you practice saying it over and over, soon enough, your brain just fires it off without thinking. It has become a habit.
That's your brain literally paving that dirt path we talked about earlier, turning it into a smooth road. And the best part, the most encouraging part of all this is that you don't need to make massive, drastic changes to your life. You don't need to quit your job and study English for 8 hours a day.
No, oh my gosh, please don't do that. Even tiny little habits make a huge difference over time. This is a concept called atomic habits. A tiny change done consistently leads to remarkable results. Just 15 minutes of focused practice a day, if you do it every day, will do more to rewire your brain than studying for 3 hours once a week.
It's so true. Consistency is more important than intensity. And it's also important to become aware of the bad habits we might have. We mentioned one already, always translating in your head. Another one is immediately reaching for a dictionary the second you see a word you don't know, instead of trying to understand it from the context first.
Yes, or the habit of avoiding speaking opportunities because you're scared. If you always say no when someone asks if you want to practice your English, your brain builds the habit of avoidance. But if you can push yourself to say yes just once, you start building a new, better habit of courage.
So how do we build good habits? One of the best ways is to attach a new English habit to an existing daily routine. This is called habit stacking. For example, you already brush your teeth every morning, right? That's an existing habit. So you can decide, after I brush my teeth, I will listen to one English song and read the lyrics.
That is such a great practical tip. Or, while I make my morning coffee, I will narrate what I'm doing in English. You're not trying to find extra time in your day, you're just linking English to something you already do automatically.
Let's brainstorm a few more. When you're cooking dinner, you can name all the ingredients in English. Okay, I have an onion, some garlic, a carrot. You could even describe the steps. First, I'm chopping the onion. Now I'm heating the pan.
I love that. And remember, habits take time to form. The science says it can take anywhere from 21 to 60 days for a new habit to feel automatic. So you have to be patient with yourself. The first week will feel like work. The second week will feel a bit easier. By the fourth week, you might start to feel weird if you don't do it.
That's when you know it's working. That's when the magic of habits starts to take over, and your brain begins to help you instead of resist you. It starts to expect and even crave that daily dose of English.
So powerful. Okay, coming up next, we are going to get super specific. We're going to give you a list of simple daily practices you can start using today to build these amazing habits and begin rewiring your brain for English.
Okay, we've talked about the why and the what. Now let's get into the how. This is the fun part, the daily practices you can actually do to start rewiring your brain. These are simple, small activities, but when you do them every day, they create massive change. The key word here is consistency.
Absolutely. It's all about doing a little bit often. So let's kick it off with practice number 1, which is probably the most foundational. Listen to English every single day. It sounds so simple, but its power is immense. Just 20 to 30 minutes of listening a day trains your brain to understand the sounds, the rhythm, and the melody of English.
And this doesn't have to be 30 minutes of sitting at a desk with headphones on, studying intensely. That's great if you can do it, but you can also do what's called passive listening. You can listen while you're cooking, cleaning the house, driving to work, or working out at the gym.
Yes, fill those empty moments with English. Listen to podcasts like this one. Watch TV shows in English, listen to English music, and look up the lyrics, or find an audiobook. The goal is to surround your brain with the language so it starts to feel normal and familiar.
Perfect. Okay, that leads us right into daily practice number 2, which is just as important. Speak out loud every single day. This is the one that so many learners avoid because it feels scary, but it is a total game changer.
It truly is. And the best part is, you don't need a conversation partner to do it. Of course, it's great if you have one, but you can get amazing practice just by speaking to yourself. I know it might feel a little strange at first, but trust me, it works.
So, what does that look like? You can narrate your life. As you're getting ready in the morning, say what you're doing. Okay, I am putting on my blue shirt. I need to find my keys. Ah, here they are, on the table.
Or you could talk about your day. At the end of the day, spend 5 minutes just talking out loud to yourself in your room. Today was a good day. I went to work and I had a meeting with my boss. The meeting was interesting. For lunch, I ate a sandwich. It doesn't have to be complicated. The goal is to get your mouth, your tongue, and your brain comfortable with the physical act of producing English sounds.
I love that. Okay, daily practice number 3. Use English in your real life. We touched on this with habits, but let's expand. Find small ways to integrate English into your environment. A super simple one is to change the language on your phone to English.
Oh, that's a great one. You'll learn words like settings, messages, and call without even trying. Another idea is to use sticky notes. Label things all around your house. Put a note on your mirror that says mirror. Put one on your fridge that says fridge. Put one on your laptop that says laptop. It seems silly, but you are creating an English-speaking environment for yourself.
You are. You're tricking your brain into thinking English is everywhere. Another great practice is to read something in English out loud for 5 minutes a day. It could be a news article, a blog post, a short story, or even a children's book. This is so powerful because it connects the written words you see with the spoken words you hear and produce.
Yes, it builds multiple connections in the brain at the same time. And let's not forget about writing. Our 5th daily practice is to keep a simple journal in English. You don't need to write pages and pages. Just write 1 or 2 sentences a day.
What could they write about?
Anything. You could write about what you did that day, or write down one new word you learned and use it in a sentence. Or you could answer a simple question every day, like, what made you happy today? Or what are you planning to do tomorrow? The goal is to get comfortable expressing your own thoughts in writing.
These are all so good, Olivia. Let's do a quick recap of the daily practices. Listen to English every day. Speak out loud every day, even if it's to yourself. Use English in your real life, like changing your phone language. Read out loud for a few minutes. And write a sentence or 2 in a journal.
Exactly. Notice that none of these are huge, overwhelming tasks. They are small, manageable actions. But if you do them consistently, day after day, these little things add up. They become the construction crew that builds those strong, fast English highways in your brain.
So well said, Olivia. And now that we have these practical, physical actions, let's talk about the engine that powers everything, your thoughts and your mindset. That's coming up right after this.
We've covered a lot of amazing, practical things you can do to rewire your brain. But now we need to talk about something that might be even more important: your mindset. How you think about learning English has a massive impact on your success.
Oh, it's everything. Your thoughts can either be the wind in your sails pushing you forward, or they can be the anchor that holds you back. For example, so many learners walk around with a thought loop playing in their head that sounds like, "I'm so bad at English. I'll never be fluent. My pronunciation is terrible." And if you tell yourself that story every single day, guess what? Your brain will believe you. It will say, "Okay, boss, we're bad at English. No point in trying too hard then." But if you can consciously change that story, you can change your reality.
Exactly. It's about reframing your thoughts. So instead of saying, "I can't speak English," which is a very final, fixed statement, try changing it to, "I am learning to speak English. I am getting better every day." Can you feel the difference in energy just from that small change?
It's a huge difference. One feels like a closed door and the other feels like an open road. This is the power of positive thinking, but it's more than just being cheerful. When you truly believe in your ability to improve, your brain actually starts looking for evidence to prove you right. It becomes more focused, more creative, and more resilient.
I love that. Here's a really practical mindset shift for everyone. The next time you make a mistake when you're speaking English, I want you to stop. Don't get embarrassed or frustrated. Instead, I want you to mentally tell yourself, "Thank you, mistake."
Thank you, mistake. I love it. Why? Because that mistake is not a failure. It is a gift. It is a signpost showing you exactly what you need to work on. It's proof that you are trying, that you are pushing your boundaries, that you are in the process of learning. Mistakes are proof that you are growing.
That is such a beautiful and powerful way to look at it. Every time you open your mouth to speak or sit down to write in English, you are taking a step forward. Even if it feels messy, even if you make a dozen mistakes, your brain is busy in the background making those new connections we keep talking about.
Right. And a helpful mindset to adopt, which we mentioned earlier, is to focus on progress, not perfection. Perfection is impossible. It doesn't exist, even for native speakers. If you wait until you can speak perfectly to start speaking, you will never start.
So true. What matters is that you're communicating, that you're trying, that you're a little bit better today than you were yesterday. When you focus on your small wins and your progress, the whole process starts to feel enjoyable. English stops being the scary test you have to pass and becomes a fun tool you get to use.
Exactly. So if you're feeling stuck or frustrated, take a moment to check in with your thoughts. What's the story you're telling yourself? Instead of, "I will never be fluent," can you try, "I am getting closer to fluency with every word I learn"? It's a small shift, but it's a game changer.
That positivity and self-belief can genuinely accelerate your learning. The brain works better when it's happy and relaxed, not when it's stressed and scared. So celebrate your wins, no matter how small they seem. Did you understand a line in a movie without subtitles? Celebrate. Did you use a new word in a conversation? High five yourself.
This is so crucial. Changing your thoughts is a massive part of rewiring your brain. Positive self-talk, believing in yourself, and focusing on progress will help you move forward faster than you ever thought possible on your English journey.
So well said, James. Okay, we've covered daily practices and mindset. Up next, we're going to talk about some specific tools and techniques that can supercharge your learning and make this whole process even more effective.